Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. I'm Ella, and in this video we are going to learn how we can create a render maquette, because with this style you can present your whole design and also it looks so beautiful. So let's start. First thing you need to do is to delete all of the objects that you cannot change their material. For example, these trees, maybe all of the trees, all of the furniture in Enscape. I'm going to delete some of them. If you really want to have plants or like furniture in your view in your render, just replace them with Revit furnitures or Revit families. The only thing we need is to change their material, so it doesn't matter what kind of furniture or object they are. These are not Inkscape objects, and actually we can change their material from here, so we're going to keep them. Now let's just add some furniture and families instead of all of the objects that we have deleted. They don't need to have high quality or have lots of details. We just need to have some kind of furniture and a chair and sofas or things like this. As you saw, I have imported some objects and families and put them all over the space. Next step is to assign material. If you look at this picture, the largest surface that you can see is this ground view. After that, this roof, and then all of these walls. So we need to check our material in this surface first. Go to Manage and open Material. Create a new material and change its name. Now, first thing for creating a material is texture. So let's go to Ambient CG and select a high quality wood material for our render. Go to all category and click on wood. We have lots of different types of material and textures here. You can use most of them for this render. I personally want to use something neutral, so let's check this one first. I usually download this format. I think it has enough quality. If you unzip your material, you will have all of these textures here. We have a color texture, we have displacement, we have two different normal texture, and also a roughness. Right click on one of them and go to its properties and then details tab to check its size. It's a square texture, so its ratio is 1:1. This is important because you can use this ratio when you want to change the scale of your texture in material. Let's go back to Revit and our material. Click on image section and select the color texture. Click again, and in here make it a bit bigger, maybe 1:1, and okay. For now, let's check it like this on the surface. Select roof and go to its edit type. Before you make any changes, make sure that you duplicate this file, because we're going to change all of the material and it might be hard to get back to all of those materials that you have created separately for each part. So keep this in mind. Click on edit and in this part change all of the materials. Select this wooden material. If you go to graphic and check this box, you will have a color like the color of your texture for displaying in this view. But let's uncheck this and use a very sharp color to see all of the parts that we have changed their material. Apply and OK. Now if you change it to realistic, you will see something like this, which is a very small texture. Let's also check it on Enscape. Change its visual style and go back to material. Go to appearance and change its size to 5. Okay, and apply. Honestly, I don't think this texture is suitable for this Maquette render, so I'm going to change it real quick. I'm going to check wood number 58 and also this one. If you want to change it, just click on your image, click on here and just select the texture that you want to change. Okay, apply. This looks much better. I wish it was a bit darker and less red. I can fix its brightness from here, or if you don't like it, again, you can just change its color in Photoshop. For creating the best wooden material, you need to know that we don't have that much reflection on woods, and also we don't have that much bump, but we're going to add both of them to this texture just to have a better realistic wood. So check this reflectivity, and for its direct, go click on this part and select image, and in here select the roughness texture. Don't forget to change its size and match it with the color texture. You might don't see anything right now because we don't have any object here. You can just increase this glossiness a bit, just a bit. You see its difference here. You can also check this roughness texture for glossiness as well. You see how it affects this texture. If you want, you can keep this or just go back to a slider. I'd rather use a slider for this. But I'm going to check bump and use this displacement texture for it. This way, not only I have bump and more texture, more realistic texture on this material, also I will have better reflection in this part. I mean, look at this. Let's lower down glossiness and increase the bump to 100 maybe. Yes, this looks better. I think this is a good material for now. Next step is to change all of the material in each part, in each object, in walls, in columns, in floors, in everywhere. We need to change them and use this wooden material for all of them. Yes, it takes time. And I'm not sure if we have any option in Enscape to change all of the material to a specific one. I mean, we have this option in V-Ray, but here we just need to select one and go to its edit type and edit and change its material to this wooden Maquette. Okay, and apply. Let's just pause this update for Enscape and change all of the material. Another way that you can use is to change the texture of all of the material that you have already assigned to that objects or families. This way you just need to go to their setting and change all of the material, all of the texture, setting all of the numbers to that specific material that you have created. This is also another way that you can do it. Select your door, go to its edit type, and in here change every single material that you can see except glasses. Just leave all of glass and any transparent material. You see, like this. And do the same for windows. Also for railings, go to their edit type and change their rail structure. In here you can change their material from this part like this. For top rail, go back there again and change its material from here. If you want to change the material of these baluster, we need to go from another way. Select them and go to edit. In here, go to baluster placement and check what type of baluster family you are using. The main baluster is square 20 mm, and for start, corner and end post we are using square again but 25 mm. Now close these windows. Then go to project browser and in families find railing and then M baluster square, open it, right click on 20 mm. In type properties you can change its baluster material from here. For this lighting, just select it, go to its edit type and just change this one. Let's keep all of those transparent and glass materials. And just repeat this and do the same for all of these materials and families. Sometimes you might need to create parameter for their material just to change their material easily from the project. This is also another way that might make it a bit easier for you. I think we have changed everything. Now let's go back to Enscape. Okay. There are a few things that we need to do. First, you need to change the projection mode and put it to orthographic, like this. Click on this if you want to see the real frame that when you render you will have. And if you want to change it, just go to visual setting and in output change its size to one of these numbers, or put it on custom and enter the number and the size that you want to have in this part. As you can see, one of the most important thing about these Maquette renders is its landscape and its surrounding. So one thing that you need to do in this part is to create environment for it. You don't need to make it hard or complicated. Just add some lines in this part. If you want to import a topography and create a model based on that, it would be so good. Just be creative in this part. I mean, if you add some straight lines or some curved lines around your render, you will have much better experience. You can create them by just simply creating floor in these parts and just copying them on each other, or if you want to do other stuff, you can just always use this model in place and generic model here. Select extrusion, go to top view and just create shapes. If you want, you can add these kind of curves, also something like this, but don't use these two like rectangle and curves together. Just use one of them. Let's first work on lighting, perspective and everything, and then we are going back to fix all of these lines and curves around our model. To change the lighting of this render, if you press shift and left click, you can change the sun's location, so you will have different shadows and different types of light. It goes from day to night, and you can choose the favorite over the favorite lighting that you want to use. You can go with sunset, sunrise, or noon, or even night. If you want to control these shadows or the lighting more, just click on this icon here and create a new view. Give it a name. Let's go with A. And in this part, in sun position, you can play with all of these. These work as shift left click, and with this you can change the location of your light and hit create. This way, if you change your perspective and lighting and then you want to go back to the previous setting, you can click on this A here, and then you will have the same setting. Now let's go to visual setting and image tab. In here you can control the highlight and shadows. With this you can increase or decrease them if you want, and you can play with saturation. I think 95 is good. And color temperature, let's go with this one. Then go to atmosphere and increase the artificial light brightness and also ambient brightness. And if you go to sky, you can work with clouds, which affect the most on the lighting that you are going to have. You can play with all of these, and you can control the lighting, the sun, and with this you can rotate the sky and choose the best shadow, the best effect that you want to have. Now let's set the perspective. Finally, I think this looks good. You can delete these parts. Now in this part, if you want, you can add tree or plants that you can actually change their material, or if you can't find any, we can add them in Photoshop. Another thing that you can change and work on is this material in this part. It is repeating, and we can actually see all of these different parts here. One thing is that take this texture to Photoshop and make it bigger. And another thing is that you can create another material for all of these parts and just change the size of your texture. This way you can have better texture in all of these parts, because we can't actually see these repeating these tiles in all of these parts. But in landscape it's obvious, and if you can change it, it will be so better. Also, you can create another material for all of these parts in all of these walls, for example, and you can rotate them. Let's do it for all of these walls. Select a wall, go to its edit type, edit, select its material, and create a new material, wooden wall. Okay, select that texture, go to its setting, and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. Activate reflectivity, rotate it 90 degrees and change its size, and also do this for bump. Put it on 100 and change glossiness to 60. Apply and OK. If you want to have the best render, you need to be picky. You need to do all of these parts for each part. There's no hidden secret or something like this when it comes to render. So just take your time and edit as much as possible. If you are okay and you want to just export this, go to visual setting and output tab, and in this part select the folder for your render. And after that, if you press shift and F11, Enscape will start rendering. Let's look at the render. All of these details, all of these breaks here. I think this is a bit too much, but yeah, that looks good too. Now if you want to have night render, just press shift and then right click until you find the best lighting that you want. In here, if these lights are too much, just go to their setting. For example, if these lights are not good, select that lighting and go to its edit type. Scroll down and in its initial intensity, change it from luminance to illuminance and put it on 1 or less. And also change this distance to 1 meter. Okay, and apply. Another thing that you can do is to go to visual style and from atmosphere just reduce and decrease the artificial light brightness like this. In this way, all of these lights that we have add to these parts will decrease. Now if you again press shift and F11, you will have another render. In night render, you might see all of these noises in this part. This is something that we can't actually do anything about because we don't have denoiser and we can't control the quality of our light. But something that you can do is to increase the quality of your image, and that way you might see less renders in this part. And also if you increase the lighting, if you increase the overall sun setting, you can have better quality. Another thing that you can do is to zoom in and take close-up renders. It's a bit hard to scroll and move around and orbit in orthographic view, but as you can see, it's worth trying. You can just get super beautiful, super interesting renders from all of these parts. So yes, that's it. I hope this was useful for you and you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you have any comments or questions about this tutorial or any other videos that I have made, just leave them in comment section below and I will try my best to answer them. I will see you in the next video.